Hello, sir. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Very good. And we have been in this GCC Summit 2025 here, all the way through. And how's it going so far?
It's exciting time, I think, so tier 2 cities is definitely one of the very important initiative for yacht technologies. And we truly believe that I think the saturation has reached for the tier 1 cities, and probably now is the time for tier 2.
Right now. And also, can you also introduce yourself to our audience there?
So my name is Shishir Choudary. I'm the business head for the global GCC business for yacht technologies.
Nice, sir. And there are many questions where we'll start with. Like Coimbatore has always been known as educational hub, industrial hub, and also recently the more medicinal like tourism is happening here. And right now with GCC, where do you think the upscale of the city looks like?
So I believe that, and this is something which probably I'll give you a longish answer maybe. I
Okay.
think, so what is happening within GCC in last almost 3 decades, if you really look at it, right? So, right, the leaders from those has been instrumental in kind of setting up the GCCs, right?
Nice.
So,
Okay.
fortunately or unfortunately, the SLAs or the measuring criteria actually came from there, right? So the GCCs needs to set up, right, a true business extension of the global companies, not only as the IT service provider kind of a thing, right? So from that perspective, you need to have a longer horizon, and in my opinion, you can keep a very long horizon in the tier 2 cities like Coimbatore, where you have the true talent, you have the right leadership capabilities, and you can kind of extend that thought process a little bit more strongly.
Nice. And talking about measurements and having horizons like now, what do you think like Coimbatore would like look like with help of GCC in the next 5 to 10 years? Can there be
boy.
any scale to measure?
Oh boy, I think that's a great question, and I think this is truly an inflection point. In my opinion, I think two ways in which the city is growing. Right, the one which I just talked about. Right, even the new GCCs and especially the mid-market companies coming in. Right, I mean they would be looking at the cities like Coimbatore. The second is the major technology companies who want to kind of set up more of a stable centers, right? I mean the Microsoft, the AWS of the world and such, right? And third, I think I missed the third one, is the existing GCCs setting up the centers in Coimbatore. So in my opinion, within 5 years, I mean again, even today we are not calling the GCCs, the Coimbatore as a tier 2, right? I mean we already are calling it tier 1 or equivalent, right? In my opinion, in 5 years, probably it will be equivalent to the Bangalore and Hyderabad of the world.
Super. So bring them all in and talking about investments. What do you think the policy interventions or regulatory bodies are helping to make this achievable? It's like the practical terms. Are there any timelines or benchmark in place, or how are we working on it?
I think so we have been calling it, from the beginning that GCCs are more of an ecosystem, right? I mean, I think it is a hub where everybody comes together, right?
Yes.
There are the NASCOMs of the world, right? And the governing bodies basically. There are policymakers. The chief minister was there in the morning here, right? And then we have got various different players, including the academia and the startups. All of them actually really make this ecosystem a little bit more stronger, right? So from that perspective, growth of this ecosystem is very, very important, right? And I think the private companies like us, or even the companies like Schlumberger or Schneider Electric, I think they can invest only so much. But beyond that, I think there are so many different policies and the government help that will be required to truly take the talent supply chain all the way back to the institutions, right? And that is, in my opinion, the major thing. Like we were also hearing in the conference throughout the day that the financial assistance or even the tax breaks and or the lease of the land and all those kind of things is not going to be important, but the talent is the most important thing. And how the policies can actually truly bring the talent supply chain and make it stronger is the most important thing in my opinion.
So one last question is like,
Yeah.
we've been talking about bringing talents and everything, and you've been doing this in other tier 1 cities for more than 3 decades right now. So what do you think, is there any solutions, if there are any, for plug and play solutions for some key setbacks that people have been talking about, or the setbacks that you've witnessed in Coimbatore, like roads, infrastructure, or digital connectivity? If there are any, what are the solutions?
Yeah, I think, so everything that you just mentioned, I don't think there are any of those roadblocks, right? I mean, the connectivity, even again, if I take Pune, for example, right? I mean, Pune has that problem, like what Coimbatore might have, right, in terms of the flight connectivity and such, right? So, in my opinion, how many times the decision makers have to really travel to the tier two cities? Not many times, maybe once in a quarter, right? Rest of the time, it is the leaders and the people within the city itself, right? So, I don't think the connectivity is a big issue. I don't think the roads are a big issue. Digital connectivity is everywhere these days in India, right? Most important thing is the availability of the talent. And I think,
Nice.
as I mentioned earlier, the talent supply chain, building that is important, and really figuring out that what is that leadership skills that needs to be there within the cities like this, right? Where, as soon as you become a 5-year experienced person within a city, you start to feel, hey, I have hit a ceiling, right? If you are able to kind of move that ceiling a little bit further, people will stay more, and then the leadership will be kind of obvious, right?
That talks
So,
about retaining talents.
absolutely.
What have you like learned from other tier one, tier two cities and other places that they have done to retain talents that Coimbatore should do? That comes around. Should there be any work-life balance kind of things out of workplace? Like today we had a question about nightlife. It's not just about nightlife. It's like what else the city should provide to retain those talents. It comes to retaining finally.
So, the variety of things, right? I think um, the employees typically, I mean, the knowledge employees today, right? They tend to get the most kick out of their own upgrade in their knowledge, right? So, in whichever way, right? I mean, bringing the conferences like these where the people can actually participate more and more, right? Bringing the technologies together, bringing the software companies, here to run some innovation centers. I mean, those are the ways in which, the academia, the current companies, the companies like us, as well as the startup ecosystem, more and more, I think, if you create that ecosystem where people can actually come in, they learn, and they can contribute to that also. So once you get that kind of a fulfillment, I think it's very hard to leave the city. So that's
Nice.
typically the way. So
It's nice talking to you, sir.
all right,
Answers
yeah.
everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.